Welcome back. My name's Ryan Selvy, and this is File New, your weekly source of creator news, design news, art news, everything to keep you up to date in the ever-changing world of being a creator. We are here for the next hour or so, and we've got lots to go through. We've got resources, we've got news, we have Font of the Week, which is reliant on everybody in the YouTube chat to vote and pick a Font of the Week, and we dive into each font and what we would use it for, and it's a pleasure to have you here. But I don't want to keep you waiting for too long. Let's hop right into news. By the way, everything in this section, and all sections actually, is available as a link over here on the raindrop. You can see that it is available in the description of today's episode in both Behance and on YouTube, which we are streaming live to. And you can, if you want to quickly flip through all the links and then you have no need for the show, it's fine. But you also have access to a bunch of the other previous episodes, going back all the way to episode 53 right now. And they have all the tags of stuff of what you need. So if I go quickly through anything, or you want to come back to it later, just know this is a resource for you. And I hope you enjoy it. And it's there even when we're not live. So hello to everyone in chat. Alyssa, Oliver, Zone A Fly, also known as Kendall. I don't know why I said it like that. Penny, Kablam, also all over on YouTube. And then, of course, Penny and Wade and Apurva and Peter and Rick, everybody over on Behance. If you're watching this as a replay, I promise to make it as rewatchable as possible. And we are here every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, except for next week. And that is the time when I'm going to tell you that we are actually not going to be streaming next Wednesday. I don't know if we're going to be streaming a different day or not. Follow me on Blue Sky, RyanSelvy.com, or Instagram, Ryan Selvy, and I will give you an update as soon as I figure that out. But as of right now, there's going to be something else going on Adobe Live on Wednesday next week, so we will not be here. But we will be back at the same time, same place in 2 weeks from today. We're here every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Today, in some camera news for your photographers out there, there is some new Canon cameras. And the interesting thing about this one is that the new thing that they just announced, which is the PowerShot V1 and the EOS R50 V Expanded. These series are coming with creators directly in mind. So people who are, making things for social, making things where they're talking to the camera, I guess kind of similar to this. But one of the cool things here is that you can even see on this guy right here on the EOS RV, you can see that there is a recording button right on the front. So when you are actually putting it towards yourself, you don't have to hold it like this. You can kind of hold it directly on the front, and then you can hit the right at the beginning so that it can film towards you. In their announcement, they were specifically calling out the creators. It says that their headline is, and I quote, "For all creators," I'll bring this on the screen too, Canon's new PowerShot V1 and EOS R50V expand EOS PowerShot V series. And it's talking about how there's a newly designed grip. There's ultra-wide angle zoom lens, dual pixel, a cooling fan inside the body to help enable longer video recording. I know that's something that people run into a lot when they're recording video on these very high technical cameras, is they can overheat. But the big thing about it is that it can be cinema quality right in the palm of your hand. And of course they have like functionality. Oh, it's downloading. I want to go for that. But where it's actually going to be a thing where you can flip so you can see yourself, and that way you can kind of do a look at yourself as you are recording. And yeah, I think this is cool. I believe Oliver shoots on Canon. And I guess I should mention, as I always like to, these are news stories that are curated by Ryan Selvy. These are not selected by Adobe, so these are not official Adobe endorsements. They are just Ryan Selvy giving you the updates, and we happen to be on Adobe Live. Also, Canon's talking about how they updated some of their lenses as well to complement these new cameras, and you can read all about it on the other link that I have. It talks about pricing and availability. I see that Alyssa is already in the chat saying sorry to my bank account. Umacorn's also wondering how much it costs. So make sure you guys hop in there. I don't take any responsibility for any money that you spend that you do not have. Speaking to all the camera people out there still, one of the exciting new trade shows stories coming up it's not a new trade show by any sorts, is the NAB show. That's actually only in 10 days. And as you were wondering, yes, of course, Adobe is aware of it, and Adobe will be there. It's in Las Vegas, as it normally is, and it runs from April 5th to April 9th. It says that NAB show is an annual trade show produced by the National Association of Broadcasters, which is NAB. It takes place in April and has been held since 1991 at the Las Vegas Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. You guys ever heard of it? The show's tagline is "Where Content Comes to Life," and I have always wanted to go. I do not not going, but I wish I could. It's one of the trade shows that I'd like to go to between like NAB and CES and South by Southwest. Now that I've gone to Max, I just want to go to all of them, and I want to play with all the gadgets and play with all the booths. Oliver's saying, yeah, NAB is definitely not new. Yes, very, very true. By the way, all of these things can continue in their conversations outside of the stream as well. We have an Adobe Live server, and in here we have File New, which has its own channel, which I like to share the artboards and different links and things that maybe we can't talk about on stream because they have copyright behind them. I like to throw them in here so we can talk about it and have this community. If you are able to, I would love to see you over on the Discord, and I can actually put the link to the Discord in chat once I track that back down, and maybe you guys are like watching a video or something, because I need to pull it up. That said, Wade, if you have it, if you could post it, that'd be great. I believe it's in the description, actually. Could you grab it from the description and put it in the chat for me, Wade? I would appreciate you. Rick says he will be at NAB with the HP booth, so come say hello. Yes, Rick is a wonderful guy. I saw him at Max. He comes to New York sometimes, and he will let you know about all the new and exciting updates from HP with creators in mind. That said, speaking of Max, I went to the one in Miami, and it was my first Max. But Adobe Max is the gigantic Adobe convention, and if you are European, you don't have to fly all the way over to America for it, because there is London Max, and London Max is in 29 days, which feels like a far way away, but is also very close. So if you are interested in seeing a bunch of really cool talks, learning more about the new updates to Adobe and things that are coming down the line, make sure that you check out Adobe Max. However, if you are far away from London, like myself, you can easily go and do a lot of virtual conference situations, because it's all available online as well. At least not all of it, but some of it. And you can get to that by just, you can search out London Adobe Max on Google, and it should get you. Alternatively, if you just want to put it straight into the URL, you could just do adobe.com/uk/max-london.html. It's also in the raindrop, of course. But this is going to be talking about London 2024, but exciting new things coming up for 2025 in just a matter of days. You can register on the site if you want to, and you can see what's coming down the line. I'll obviously be updating you guys about exciting updates for this as we get closer in future episodes as well, but lots of very cool speakers, and I had the best time when I was down in Miami. I wish I could fly out to London, but you know what? I'm just not a jet setter like that, so we don't necessarily have that capability. As far as things that are in the palm of your hand, like Max Virtual, well, how's that for a transition? Do you guys was that a good enough transition? Welcome to the chat, Megan. By the way, you're here just in time for me to trip over my tongue. But in some updates to Threads are taking a play out of the handbook of Blue Sky, and you can now actually set your feed to what you want it to be on the home screen of Threads. You can also do a bunch of different controls from their website directly. It says that they're introducing new controls that help you show up as yourself on Threads, including updates to tag topics, follower-only replies, and more. They also say a new analysis shows that posts that include a topic generally receive more views than those that don't, and they're working on bringing topics to more places in the app. They'll continue listening to feedback from the community and evolving Threads to better suit your needs. I would be very interested if anyone here uses Threads. I know we've talked about it a few times, and I always like to just kind of do a little voice out there to see where I should be posting, and I don't know if I should be posting to Threads. I don't personally post to Threads, but I think there is a lot of engagement on there, and it's something to think about. Speaking of engagement and meta products, Instagram is apparently testing out AI comments. So that's just something to be aware of when you're posting content to social platforms, is that there is this new feature that they're apparently testing out with. You know, you might like a comment, and it will then entice you and try to say, like, here are a few things that you could say. So like in this example video that is featured on the TechCrunch article that is linked in the raindrop, it's saying that this was a post about living room spaces and a new area. So when someone likes it, then it pops up and it suggests saying cute living room setup, smiley face, love the cozy atmosphere, great photo shoot location. The reason I bring this up is just to be cognizant and aware of how we're interacting online. The dead internet theory is always a thing, or maybe it's called the zombie internet theory, when it's like a bunch of computers just talking to other computers and we're all just talking to bots. But felt far-fetched long ago, doesn't feel as far-fetched anymore. That said, bringing a part of human and humanity into your content is always going to be important and always appreciated. And, you know, I think that just when you're seeing comments, like, you should also kind of be aware that when you're replying to them, like if you reply them in your own voice, in your own brand voice, that I think that's going to go a long way. But just something to be aware of, that like even people who aren't bots might start having bot-like comments. Winter Powell in the chat is saying, I saw this on Instagram and it was weird to me. Alyssa is also mentioning that she likes threads. Bliss is saying, don't tell me what to say, Instagram. And Yasina is saying, too much for me, bring back the original Instagram. Wade is also going, blah. Thank you, Wade, for you're such a man of the words. Let's hop out of some AI stuff, though, and let's hop into some more creator stuff. For those of you that like to create physical creations, there is a new 3D printer on the market, but it is not just a 3D printer. According to The Verge, they say that it isn't just a bigger 3D printer. It's a laser cutter. It is a pen plotter. It is a Cricut competitor, too. And this is the Bamboo H2D. It is quite a massive thing. And they're walking through how it starts at $1,899, has 2 3D printing nozzles and a much bigger bed, but also comes with a modular attachment system. So you can plug in a blade, you can dice through paper and vinyl, you can plug in a pen and it'll draw logos or schematics and a flash. You can even engrave and burn laser images into all sorts of materials. This is coming from reporting from Sean Hollister at The Verge. I think this is really cool. I've always wanted to get a 3D printer or a laser cutter. I played with a friend's Cricut years ago, and I've always like talked myself out of getting one, especially for papercraft or something. But something that you can do is you can just create shapes and different designs like in Illustrator. And as long as you can outline them into something, you know, you can take that and then just pump it straight into a laser cutter, which is really nice. So like in this case, I could go in, and we could just, oops, to the symbol, could just go and create like a shape here. We could use a Pathfinder or the shape builder tool. And from there, we can, actually, let's just do the Pathfinder. It's less clicks. You can go in and then like you would just pump this straight into the machine to then be able to cut something out. Let's say that maybe like you want to test it out and print out something first. There's also the ability to go in here, and if you've never messed with the dimension tool, the dimension tool is pretty cool, especially if you're working with physical media, where you can like click on things and measure out how far they are from stuff. You can also scale it. In the case of like this little object that we would make of this flower-esque thing that we have, we could create and line up with the top here. You just go and you click, and then you would drag it down, and then it can create kind of, oops, I clicked too many times. You can click to the top, and you bring it down to the bottom, and then it would say that it's 9.17 inches. Let's say that maybe you don't want inches, you want centimeters or something. You can always go into the settings and you can change it out 2 centimeters or what have you, and then you would just update it accordingly here. But you can also do things like angles, and you can also do radial dimensions. So something to always play around with, something that you would be able to then be able to port over into something like a Cricut cutter or this new Bamboo H2D. And as always, I will continue to say, not an Adobe endorsement, Ryan Selvy, just mentioning some really cool stuff. Kendall is saying, love the dimension tool. Hello to Stan, also over on Behance. And yeah, Megan is saying it looks hefty over on the YouTube chat. Umacorn saying that the dimension tool is very handy. I think I already said that out loud. Sometimes when I stream, I just continue to say the same things over and over again. I'm like, when did I say that? That's all the news that we have so far for just the news section. I will also be posting this artboard onto the Discord as well. So if you want to join the Discord, thank you very much, Wade, for putting that in the chat. I saw you did that, but it's also in the description if you need it. Let's hop over into our next segment, which is Font of the Week. Our Font of the Week is the segment that we do every single week, as the name suggests, where we pick a font, 3 different fonts, from the wonderful selection of Adobe Fonts, and we put it to the community that's on the stream to ask which one is the winner for the given week. This week we have 3 ones that I selected. Also, if you guys ever have suggestions for ones that you want to also bring forward, I would love to hear why you love them and why you think they should be the font of the week. But I'm going to go ahead, and this week we're actually going to try out, I'm going to put the poll up first, and then we're going to start walking through it. So this week, the ones that we have is Adso, Sigurd, and Gopher. So bing, bang, boom. And I just put up the poll over on the YouTube chat. If you want to hop over to the YouTube chat, now is the time to go do so. I can go ahead, and if you'd like, I can even put in the YouTube little link here for you. That way you are able to click over if you're over on Behance. But we have 3 different options for you, and I am going to go ahead, and as you guys continue to vote, I will bring up some of the descriptions that they have all available with your Adobe Type subscription, which comes with your regular one. The first one is Adso. It is designed by Bruno Bernard from Production Type, and it is a sans serif font. It feels playful in nature, but I also think that it is a could be used in like serious ways. It's like very flexible in that way. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Production Type's write-up from it and what they say about it, because it's always fun to hear kind of what people say about their own type in the same way that they talk about their own work. So they say that Bruno Bernard designed Adso between 2005 and 2010, combining the modernity of uncluttered shapes with the noble beauty of black letter structures. It is a robust yet refined. It's funny that I'm like stumbling through saying robust yet refined display typeface. But there we go. So what we always like to do as well is I like to pull up the typeface within the Photoshop interface and just type out file new, and we can look at it. It's fun because it has everything from ultralight to extra bold, and it also has italics in there as well. I can definitely see the black letter reference, especially when you go in and you're like looking at kind of this weird curvature of the top of the F. You can see these E's that don't fully connect back to their own stem. It just kind of goes and stops halfway, but still gives you the full idea of a lowercase e. I can also show you guys what it looks like if we were to put it in all caps. I think that some of the tracking could be maybe refined, and adjusted. I think that with black letter, sometimes the spacing and the tracking can get a little goofy. But if you were working on a little polished project, I think you could go in and you could just adjust it accordingly. Although if you kind of want to also stick to just the idea of what is already there, I think that works perfectly as well. So that is Adso. And once again, that is from Bruno Bernard. Thank you very much to Wade in the chat for commenting all 3 links to all 3 typefaces, which are all available on Adobe Typekit as well. Next up, we have Sigurd from Blaze Type. This was designed by Leon Hughes and Matteo Salvaggio, and it is a sans serif font with very nice variety in weights between the letter forms. You can see like even in the S, the bottom and the top are very thin while the middle is very fat. They say that it is inspired by the hero of Nibelungian Saga, Siegfried. Sigurd gathers its inspiration from the shape of swords, feudal armors, and medieval lettering work. It's an elegant typeface family with a strong design construction and tons of alternate characters and various swashes suited to a wide variety of uses in text layouts and for display uses. I think this is really interesting that I accidentally picked almost two medieval kind of vibes, and they have two very different approaches. But nonetheless, I think that it is a fancy-looking font. I always tend to think that actually serif fonts look pretty fancy, but this comes in light all the way to heavy. It also has italics for you and extra bold. It has actually a few more weights than Adiso or Adso, so that's something to consider when you're voting on the best font of the week. I really like how high the X height is here. You can see that the E, the way that it kind of crosses and cuts it, is really cool. And I also really like the flaring of the F as it kind of sticks out. I think this is really legible. It's also nice that it could be both a display font or it could also be a body font if you wanted to have something a little bit more fancy for your body cop. I don't think it could get too tiny, especially with some of the thin areas of the typeface, but nevertheless. And then finally we have Gopher, which I couldn't remember if we've done before because I know I really like Gopher, but when I went to go share it onto Raindrop, it did not pop up. So I'm sorry if we've done this one before, but I think that the spacing and the width of these letters is so weird and so fun. I'm biased. I'm going to tell you guys straight up. This one is my favorite one of this week. Also, thank you, Nate, for being here. Welcome back. Good to see you, Nate, from the Discord. Thank you for tuning in. And Bruce says, I see who's in the lead. And it's not my favorite, but that's okay. Gopher is a reverse contrast geometric sans. It has normal, text, and display families for you. As you can see, I have it synced to my system. And if we bring down the different weights, it has everything from hairline to heavy. It also has italics for you as well. But as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different weights for you. And it is created by the team just Adam Ladd, which we talked about Adam Ladd last week, didn't we? Oops, I guess I've picked his 2 weeks in a row. And what can you do? So I just think that they're all very strong. I think they're 3 different feels. Adso and Gopher probably are more similar in each other than maybe Sigurd, but I would love to hear what you guys think. And as we continue to let that voting out, because I want to give people plenty of time to vote, we're going to focus on one other typeface story, and this comes from the typography thread over on Reddit. It says, if Gotham was the font from 2001 to 2010, Gotham, as you know, was very notably the typeface for the Obama campaign in like 2008, and it was also just like in every single brand everywhere for everyone as just the go-to sans serif. It then quickly shifted over to Proxima Nova, and I remember loving Proxima Nova, and that was from 2010 to 2020. It says, what is a comparably versatile and ubiquitous font now? Now that we are halfway through the 2020s, which is so weird to consider that we're halfway through this decade. What has replaced Gotham? What has replaced Proxima Nova and Montserrat? And similar go fonts in versatility and ubiquity. The person here, who is Far Westerner 1, says, I really love Accurate Linido and use it for body text in headlines, but I'm not sure it's great for display text. There were a lot of different comments on here. The one, I'm wondering if you guys can actually guess which one is the one that everyone kind of mentioned is the go-to, because it's one of the ones that I feel like I tend to kind of pop on sometimes, but it was Inter. And Inter is very reliable. It has a variable version, so you can make it big and small as much as you want. You know, you can also adjust the slant as much as you want. And I think that this is one that just kind of pops up over and over and over again. Not to say that it's not good, you know, in the same way that I still think Gotham and Proxima Nova are strong contenders. I think that, you know, and strong. Also, is Montserrat on Yes, it is. It is on Adobe Typekit, which, you know, this one pops up too. Penny is saying the G, though, kills them. And why is that? The G's good. Do you mean the uppercase G, maybe? Let me see. Why does the G kill you? Oh, because it doesn't have... It says the capital G looks like a C, says Penny. Yes, I hear that. I hear you. I think that's valid. Yeah, that's kind of distracting now that I see it. I've never noticed it before, but I guess I just don't normally have things with capital G's. But that's super frustrating. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think is a typeface that you see everywhere that is super flexible, that is popping up lots of places, that's kind of a base? They said that the runner-up is Plex Sans and its companion Plex Serif. That is the one that is really high up. Someone saying they used to have a name. It says Inter is to today what Myriad was to the mid-90s. Myriad obviously is the default font in Illustrator, so it is something that is, you know, pops up in a lot of people when they're just kind of throwing things at the wall. Joshua was saying definitely Inter, and yeah, that actually seems like a lot going on. So yeah, also Din, yeah, says was the font choice from 2001 to 2008 and Gotham from 2008 to 2020. Yes, Din was everywhere for a little bit. I remember especially in kind of the end of MySpace days, beginning of Facebook days, Din was around. And I think it was also even available for free online, which also always just gives it that extra element. Checking back on the votes over on YouTube, there is a very clear winner in the lead right now. We're up to 20 votes, so I'm going to let that go just a little bit longer too. Maybe if it gets up to like 25 or something, we'll end it. Or if not, we'll just end it in 10 minutes. But we have not yet crowned a victor here. I have an idea of who it's going to be. But that is the Font of the Week section. Let's go ahead and hop into resources. So last week, we actually highlighted one of Mr. Offbeat's videos on Instagram, and I really, really liked it. So I've actually been kind of perusing and cruising around his stream a little bit more, or not his stream, his profile over on Instagram. He has some really cool stuff on his account that has really good ideas and suggestions and resources for illustrators. I specifically wanted to highlight one of his new videos about how he creates mockups. Unfortunately, I didn't find it until yesterday, so I reached out to him and have not heard back, so I don't want to play anything without his consent. I always want to make sure everyone on this stream gets complete consent and gives me the thumbs up before I show it, but I do want to take some of his advice of what he was creating and use it as a way to show you guys what is resourceful. So credit to Mr. Offbeat here. Make sure you check it out. I linked to the exact video in the raindrop, so if you want to check out the one that I'm talking about specifically, go check it out. But the thing that was really interesting to me is he found a new use to Firefly that I was not anticipating. It was using it as a means to create mock-ups that are video to bring it to the next level of something that feels like it is filmed rather than just like creating a static mock-up like I have here. So I went ahead and I created two different statics. I created one that looks kind of like a shop sign for the File New Show, and then I created one that is for the theater that says now showing the File New Show. And so I was wondering for you guys which you would like to see as a kind of nice Firefly created video. You could do this with any of your mockups, especially if you want to elevate it for other clients. I think that, as with anything else, like this isn't going to be what you use for the final product, but it is going to be something that you can use that really brings your production value to the next level. So I'm going to go ahead and just hop on over to firefly.adobe.com. And if we go into the video section of image to video, which is under beta, you can go and you can actually upload a frame that you want to then have a creation of here. I'm seeing Stan in the chat saying theater, and that is the one vote that I can see so far. So since I don't want to make you guys wait for too long, let's go ahead and make sure that I can do that. Did I even save it though? I don't know if I saved it. I made it as a mock-up, and I don't know if I saved it. So I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to go to quick export, as PNG. I'm going to throw it in here and click save. Theater as well, also from Penny. Thank you very much. By the way, as far as the typeface goes over here, Aaron is saying that he likes Gopher because it's fun, and Onate is saying it reminds him of Caddyshack. So we have this cool theater one, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and pull up Adobe Firefly here. We're going to take the first frame. I'm going to upload option 2. I agree. I made this image, and the video that we want, I want to do like what? Should we do like handheld? We could do static, tilt up, move left, move right. I kind of like, let's do maybe just like I'm between static or handheld. Let's do handheld because that's going to give us a little bit more motion in it. And I'm going to say we're going to say front of theater with how about flashing lights and exciting ambiance of a premiere. And we're going to hit generate. And then we're going to let that go. It's going to hit generate video. And as that's kind of working, we're going to let that run a little bit, and we will come back to it in just a little bit. But I thought it was a really interesting way of being able to create mock-ups that are more realistic, because it's like already at the beginning, it is something that, like, when you put something as a mock-up, a lot of times the client will automatically take it and feel like it's more done, even though like you're only just putting it in Photoshop or you're putting it in Illustrator. But then taking it to that next level to be like, not only can you imagine it in the space, but you can imagine it to be a like finalized being and something that you're kind of focusing around. A purpose is to have the signboard be ripped off by a T-Rex. You know, that's chaotic energy. Stian is saying loving the energy because a purpose also suggesting that Superman is landing over the signboard. Firefly never trains on copyrighted data though, because everything's consensual and opt-in and free for professional use. So you will never have a Superman landing on anything because Superman cannot be used in Firefly. That said, very funny, and would love to see Superman come onto File New if they ever, sign that on. Since that's also like a resource for you guys, I do want to go and hop into some other stuff while that's rendering out. And this is Monday Meeting. Zonafly, who's here, is Kendall Hotchkiss, and she is a moderator and a host for Monday Meeting. It is a weekly virtual gathering where motion designers, animators, and visual effects artists come together to discuss industry trends, share their experiences, and learn from one another. Creative Community provides a platform for networking, collaboration, and skill development. By participating in Monday Meeting, motion designer professionals can stay up to date on the latest techniques, tools, and software while also expanding their professional networks and growing their careers in this exciting and dynamic field. So it's all on Discord where they have discussions, but you can also listen to past episodes where they have the open conversation. And it's very cool because it is something that is very accessible. Like, I've joined a few and I've been able to just talk, and everyone's very welcoming. You kind of talk about your experiences, and you can talk to important people that are coming through. Also, Adobe Live is not live when this is live, so you don't have to miss out on any Adobe Live either. But you can also join their Patreon. You can join the Discord. You can have their podcasts over on wherever you find podcasts. You can find the podcasts over on Spotify. And it's a really great resource, and it's free, and you just get to have a really good community while you're joining their Discord. Make sure you join our Discord as well to talk about here. Wade is saying, why am I just now hearing about this, Ryan? I'm sorry. Because I was on it, and Evan and Kyle were also on it. So they've had some good people. Who knows? Maybe, Wade will be around. Kendall's saying, we are having an open discussion next Monday. Come join and ask questions. And I believe that's 12 p.m. Eastern or 11 p.m. Eastern. I think it's 12 p.m. Eastern. 9 a.m. Pacific, I believe. But correct me if I'm wrong. And with that, this is all right. Moment of truth, guys. Whoa! Look at that. That's actually pretty insane. It feels very exciting. It feels like maybe I'm a starlet. Um, it's struggling a little bit with some of the text, but for the whole means, especially for a mock-up, if I was showing this to a client or something, I think that this is something that could easily give idea to the client. If we also want to focus maybe on something that you can also download it, of course. If we want to focus on something that is maybe a little bit more mock-up heavy, we could create a new one here where we create a new image to video here. And we're going to let this run through. We're going to update the first frame. Oh, I need to export it again. I can't believe I didn't export these. And we're going to say option 1, quick export as PNG. And then I'm going to upload that. And I'm going to say mock-up of sign on side of building. Mock-up of sign on side of building filmed by hand, I guess. I don't know. We're going to generate for that, and it's going to do all of its work. Oops, I'm logged into the wrong account. So I'm going to actually switch over my account here. That way we can have more credits for it. And we'll come back to that in just a little bit. So then as far as resources go, we have some Adobe Express Beyond Full-Time, Create Freelance. Can freelance designers and content creators earn more? Earnings and trends among freelance graphic designers and short-form content creators. This was posted back in January, but I only just found it. So I wanted to share it with you guys. It had some really interesting things about rates and income and the idea of kind of navigating this job market and having an understanding of freelancer fees. And it says the key takeaways are graphic designers could earn up to 43% more as freelancers than as full-time employees. Graphic design freelancers make the most money in Australia, and short-form content creators make the most in the US. Freelance graphic designers and short-form content creators in the UK charge the lowest rates, and overall, freelancers in the US have secured more work via Upwork than freelancers in the UK and Australia. And so this has an idea of freelance creative pay with average hourly rates by freelancer role is at $49.65 here for graphic designer, $50 for short form creator. Average annual salary by freelancer role is $92,000 and short form content creators $94,000. Graphic designer salaries have increased 14% since 2019. And then it gives you a breakdown of the different countries between the U.S. with their average hourly rate being $51 and Australia being 86 Australian dollars, which is $56 US. It breaks down some of the skills among digital creators and digital design pay gaps. And I think that there's just like a lot of really good, useful information here, especially if you're thinking about freelance or you're in freelance. Make sure you check it out. It's over on the Adobe Express blog for small businesses. And like I said, it was out in January, so you might have already seen this. But, you know, what can you do? Winter says the drawing bugs me with the wrong number of fingers. Cartoons always have 4 fingers. Oh, I guess it has 3 fingers. There's 3 fingers on this. I guess because like it's like switching the thumb. You know, there's artistic style here. Also, the head is way smaller than the body. I don't know what to tell you. What can you do? But I thought that was interesting. Next story we have is coming from our friend Jeff Lopaledo, and he posted something on Instagram that I thought was really interesting. And this is don't sleep on the mirror function in Illustrator. And I'm going to make sure that it's muted because he has some copyright music here. But I'm just going to pull it up and we can watch it here. So he's creating like a bird of sorts for a graphic design project. He's using replication and he's using the transform tool and kind of lining things up. And it's just taking some time under the repeat sections. And so it's taking a lot of times and then switching around and moving, whereas he doesn't need to make it this complicated for himself. Basically, he's showing that you can then instead go to object, repeat, mirror, And from there, you can kind of designate where the mirror is going to be. And from there, you can then create a symmetrical thing that is right down the middle. And then that way you can kind of create with paths and lines and create a vector without having to go back to the left and right over and over again to create something that's symmetrical. In other previous times, what I've also done is I've like created one side of it and then, you know, flattened it and with the pathfinder and then do like a transform reflect. But it's really nice that this is a kind of piece that is non-destructive, so you can actively work on it while you're creating things. And so you can see here again, it was under, what is it, object, repeat mirror. So you first have to have kind of like an object here. And I'm going to go ahead and create some sort of line so that we can then focus on it. And this is just within Illustrator. So then if we go to object, repeat mirror, it's going to give us this kind of option to then kind of create. And as we do it, you'll see that it continues to create a very cool piece. And what you can do is, you know, you can always go in, you can always adjust it accordingly if you need to. This is like a Rorschach test. That would be fun if we did that one time where I like created like a symbol and then we just did like a slow reveal and we could see what you guys thought it would end up being. But this is a lot easier, obviously, than having to go in and like, you know, go to one side and just like manually adjust it a little bit. But the mirroring is really helpful. And also in the chat, Penny is saying, obsessed with mirroring on Fresco. Can't wait to try this on Illustrator. Kendall says, I've never thought about using the mirror like that. It's always just reflect. Also, Winter is saying that the mirror feature is also for drawing faces. And Nate says, thanks for sharing. So what can you do? Next up, we have one other Instagram video that I also wanted to show. Once again, getting approval from creators for this, and this is coming from Fabian. This one is less so of a hack for using software, but it's more when you're shooting. He says, ever wonder what the difference between softbox modifier and how light has affected the environment and the skin? Through the video, you can see what kind of light quality it produces, and therefore you can choose what's best for your case. And so he has a reflector and grid, a lantern softbox, a softbox grid, and just a regular softbox. It's just a very short looping video by Fabian Moore, and he does a good job of like turning his head to show you kind of how there's a drop off where the contrast comes in with his face, and his account is fabian.videograph, and it's just really helpful to have and be able to know how you're kind of setting it up. I tend to appreciate it when something like the lantern softbox is used, just because I feel like it feels more human. But maybe if you're going for something a little bit more documentary that feels a little bit more dramatic, using a softbox with a grid could be helpful, or a reflector with a grid. You can see that for a lot of it there is a lot of drop off the side of his face, but very nice resource to have. And I audio and is the worst for me. Lighting is the second. I like to do all my visual stuff, and sometimes lighting with these sensors sometimes are really difficult to navigate. But speaking of things that are on your computer that are visual, there is a resource of Symbol. This is a free, fresh design asset resource. And if you've ever been creating something and for whatever reason your computer's giving you a hard time with loading like emojis or maybe some symbols that you want to use and you need to have them in an SVG, there is the symbol.reverend group. And here they have emojis, they have app icons, flags, cursors, badges, payments, and what you can do is you can just click into Explore Emoji, and as you hop in, you can just click and it copies the symbol for you, and then you can just bring it wherever you want to, which is really neat. Then, you know, you don't have to worry about it. There's also some like key commands that you can do to have stuff, but in full quick use cases, just being able to go and grab quick symbols is extremely helpful. And, you know, they have different catalog and navigation up here if you want, and they're constantly updating it, which is really cool. So that's symbol.reverend group. Welcome, Nate Oski. Also, welcome to Ashful. Thank you guys for being here. We're just going through some resources right now. We got one more for you for resources, and that's fonts in use. I'm not sure if I've talked about this before because I've used this for forever, but then I saw it on sidebar.io, which I'm so excited is back. And it is just a really good way of getting font inspiration and then also being understanding of what is being used where. And then you can also go in and, like, let's say that we were just talking about Din, actually. You can go in and then you can specifically check out the typefaces, and then it'll give you information as of other times it's been used and how it's been used. It's a really good resource for if you're sitting on a typeface and you're wondering kind of what project it's been used for. You can kind of see where it has been utilized already. So obviously in consumer goods, Din has been shown up to pop easily on something that has a very vertical cylinder because it's so condensed and you can see all of it in one spot. And you can fit a lot of information. But it might also just give you an idea of different ways to design with that font in mind. And yeah, it's very helpful, and also gives you obviously full credit to all of the designers and the foundries and the release date and where it's been. So that is fonts in use. Since we're having fun, let's quickly hop into hyperlinks. And I can show you guys a really fun thing that popped up on this keyframe site. But actually, before we do that, I'm noticing now that the font of the week has been chosen over on Adobe Live's YouTube channel because we got 31 votes. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. And to my dismay, we can crown Sigurd as the font of the week, which is a bummer because you know what, guys? I wanted it to be Gopher. But with what we just talked about with Symbol in mind, we can crown our winner, as you guys know. And so I'm just going to go back over to Symbol real quick. We're going to copy this guy. And then we're going to hop over. And guess what we're going to do? We're just going to put a little crown here. And we get to crown Sigurd as the font of the week. We'll take these two. Sad, sad day. I hope you're all happy. It's the font of the week. Round of applause, everyone. Round of applause. Alyssa says, sorry. Sigurd is an elegant lady. Yes, all right, sure. It ended up being 45% for Sigurd, 38% for Gopher, and only 16% for Adso. So you guys do not like black letter. Good to know. Wade says, fun fact, this is the first time I've been part of winning font of the week. Very happy. Jeffrey's saying, poll is void. It's Gopher. Yeah. Bruce is very happy as well, though. All right. We are limited on time. So I'm going to hop back to Oh No, My Menu. This is off of Keyframes Fun. We did feature this the other day. And this is just a fun kind of space to have a kind of a reminder of the effects with After Effects and where they land. So what happens is it says that like your menu got messed up and there's a bunch of effects that need to then be placed around and then you can get scored on. I'm going to embarrass myself in free time in real time. And so what we're going to do is like Gaussian blur. We're going to go. It's obsolete. Channel combiner. We're going to say that's under channel. That's a pretty easy one. For blend, I'm going to put blend under blur. Oh, but it's under channel. Okay, that's embarrassing. VR rotate sphere, which is immersive video. We have turbulent noise, which is going to be noise and grain. CC sphere is simulation. Oh, it's perspective. Oops. CC cylinder is... Oh, guys, I'm killing it right now. Lens flare is going to be in generate. Right on is going to be in generate. So calculations is in simulation, is in channel. Oh god, I only have one life left. Path text is going to be in obsolete. Oh, did it kill me? No. Okay. All right. We're done. I did so much better. It's not the same every time. I did so much better last time. So ignore that. We're just going to pretend that never happened. Please ignore me. I'm so sorry. I'm also going to go over here and quickly, because I know we never went back to the Firefly thing. So I just want to make sure, as we have a few minutes left, that I just pull up one more here. And we're going to do image to video. We're going to do the same thing where we're going to say, oh, I'm not showing you guys. We're going to say sign mockup on side of building, shot by hand, even though we're going to say that it's static. And then we're going to generate that. And then that's going to work. And we will be able to pull that up while before we end. We only got time for a little bit left, so do you guys want to do rebrand? Let's do rebrand. We'll do Spotlight, and I can save Spotlight stuff where you can either check it out on the Raindrop, or you're going to be able to maybe tune in 2 weeks, and we can talk about it. So let's do rebrand. So something that's really cool is the Switzerland passport got updated, and it is the prettiest passport that I've ever seen in my entire life. American have just kind of the blue one has some like random imagery on it, but the actual Swiss passport by Retina, and this was on Design Boom, says that it illustrates nation's mountains, valleys, and monuments in such a cool way. You can see there is lots going on, has huge amounts of colors and hues, make sure that it's nice and complex, but still kind of pays well to the country. And also this really cool intaglio print. That's a new word for us today, guys. Has the ocean currents in it and major rivers. Also has some cartographic traditions. And just really cool, well shot, under different lighting, can all pop up for security reasons, but also continues to be really pretty. So Winter says that is a very nice passport. Ashraful's also saying it is. Nate over on Behance is saying that it is very pretty as well. Let's do one more rebrand real quick, and then we'll check in on that other one. And this one, because guess what, guys? We're not showing logos, but McDonald's understood that we're not showing logos and has said that they're going to just try to do some advertisements without any branding at all, which is such a move and is so crazy to look at these and be able to understand the edges of the paper and these close-up shots and being able to see it and understand that that is just McDonald's is so crazy. How do you guys feel about this? Do you think this is effective? Would you understand this is McDonald's even if I told you it wasn't McDonald's? What other brands do you think would be able to pull this off? There are a few that I have in mind, but I'd be interested to know what you guys think. If this is just for an article where someone writes about it being McDonald's, or if you were walking down the street, if you actually would be like, oh, I kind of want a Big Mac. Not many companies could do this, but I think if you're big enough, which like at that point, like, do you really need to advertise? Who knows? But something very interesting. Alyssa says, I think it's a good marketing idea, to be honest. And Penny says, I feel like it's effective, but it doesn't entice me to get McDonald's. Interesting. Okay. You're like, no thanks. No McDonald's for you. I'm very hungry right now. So now that I'm reporting this, I'm thinking about it. All right. It looks like our video is ready for Firefly video. We created this mock-up, and let's check it out. Oh! You know, that wasn't expected. That wasn't expected, but maybe we'll use maybe we'll use this. Boop. Oh, Firefly video, I love you. I love you. So of the two, I think maybe the theater one is a little bit more useful for a client. But this is something I would never thought to create myself. And I think shot by hand is what's kind of tossing it up. you would maybe want to take that out and maybe just say sign mockup on side of building. And we'll see if this does it super fast or not. But it was also the fact that we give it static. Probably did not help very much. But maybe we'd like move left for it, actually. I'm just seeing if we're able to kind of pull this off before we get cut off in like 2 minutes, 1 minute. But anyway, I hope that you all join me on Discord. I don't think this is going to be done actually in time, so make sure you do hop over onto Discord. I'm seeing Penny said I did so bad, but that's okay. I also did bad. I would love to see your guys' results on anything off of Keyframe over on the Discord. And thank you guys for being here. Like I said, we won't be here next week, but we will be here in 2 weeks. And make sure you stick around because we have office hours coming up next, and there is the no undo challenge with them, which is really cool. And so make sure you check it out. If you're on YouTube or Behance, it'll automatically push you over to the next one. But thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you for voting for the wrong font for Font of the Week. And I didn't realize I was like down here this whole time. You guys need to tell me to sit up or bring the camera down. Thank you to Wade, of course, for being a fantastic moderator as always. And I will talk to you all real soon in the Discord. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.